Top of the morning to you laddies. Welcome back to some 100 Line Last Defense Academy gameplay part something. We are in the murder mystery route. Technically I don't know what it's called. We just slept 25 days. Which is pretty fucked up. I don't know why we needed to sleep that long.
Up and Adam troops, time to rise and shine! Get ready for your 75th day of active service here at Last Defense Academy! Prepare to spend another day enduring the unendurable and suffering the insufferable to pave the way for humanity's future greatness.
Thank you, C-Ray.
Be ready to give your lives to protect our beloved school from the vile and barbaric enemy!
Alright, so let's see what this route is called, actually. I call it the murder mystery route. I guess it doesn't have a name. So maybe we're not on a route yet. Somehow. There might be multiple routes down here. Okay. Well, either way, I woke up at the sound of the morning announcement. The first thought that crossed my mind at that time was, not again, along with a sense of resignation. Looking up at the unfamiliar ceiling, it took me a few seconds to realize I was in the gym. I stood up from my makeshift bed, pulled open the curtain divider, and stepped outside. Takumi! He awakens! I ain't one to sweat the small stuff, but you gave us a real scare this time. You were out for 23 whole days. Is that a new record? Oh, for the love of murder. I turned slowly to look at everyone, then said, Everyone's safe. Thanks to your last words. My last words. For us to move in groups during the day and sleep together at night. Remember, those were the instructions you gave us on day 51. We've been able to survive all this time because of them. X hasn't had an opportunity to strike. That also means X is still... Yes, we still don't know who they are. If we did, we would have thrown them in the cage and tossed away the key already. Now that I got a better look at them, I saw signs of fatigue on everyone's faces. X is among us. I'll be killed if I walk around with only one other person. They've all had to spend the last 23 days under the crushing weight of such thoughts. It's no wonder their mental fatigue was starting to show physically. Oh right, there's something you need to know. What is it? About 10 days ago, we met the boy with the undying flames. He showed himself?
Yeah!
Well, he was feeling very unwell, but said he just had to tell us something. And what was that? I recently found out there's something called a distress signal transmitter somewhere in this school. It was put here in the event of all but one member of Team 1 dying. Only Team 1 though, because the two teams joining together had not been anticipated. The people on the satellite did not think Team 2 would ever come here. At any rate, no matter how strong they were, a single fighter wouldn't be able to win this war on their own. Instead, that survivor would be extracted and put on standby, while the people in charge put together a fresh team for a new attempt. Once the correct series of codes had been entered into the transmitter, it would, well, transmit a distress signal. Once the artificial satellite received it, they'd send a rescue craft to the school. The survivor would get on board and be taken back to the satellite. That's supposed to be the sequence of events. Also, the rescue craft does not have a capacity restriction. That means people from both Teams 1 and 2 can board with no issues. The second to last academy does not have a transmitter of its own, so bringing the team over here was definitely the right move. Unfortunately, I do not know where that transmitter is located. Still, it seemed to me like this information could be of some use to you. That is why I came here to tell you about it. A distress signal transmitter? I've never seen or heard of such a thing before. Same here. After hearing that, we split up into groups to search for the transmitter, but we still haven't found it. It doesn't matter. We'd have to put the transmitter on the back burner for now. Finding the identity of X was our top priority. X was most likely the one to kill Shoma. Or they could have ordered someone else to do it, like they did for Kako. At any rate, X was absolutely involved in Shoma's murder. As long as we could figure out who killed Shoma, we'd find out who X is. Alright. I clenched my fist tightly. Hiriko, Tsubasa, come with me.
Oh.
What? Where? To the courtyard. I'm going to reinvestigate the scene of Shoma's murder. Very well. I don't mind, but... What's that? Can we have breakfast first? I'm starving. That was silly, Tsubasa. And thus, Hiriko, Tsubasa, and I went to the courtyard together after having breakfast. Why did you ask us to come along? I can't go against my own last words now, can I? The part about moving together in groups during the day?
Oh.
But why choose us? No reason in particular. I just felt like it. Felt like it. One of us could very well be X. Then it'll be a 2-on-1 fight. What if X tries to destroy evidence during this investigation? I'm not worried. They would have already done that while I was unconscious if it was that important. Yes, that is true. Then what are you investigating? One question before I answer that. Nobody had an alibi for 4 a.m. on day 51, right? When Shoma was killed? Yes, we were all sleeping in our rooms. Well, Ava was in Ato's room, actually, but you know what I mean. What about the murder weapon, or any other clues? So far, we haven't found anything. In that case... The fastest way to identify X is to see who could have possibly killed Shoma under those circumstances. The killer likely used a special method to kill Shoma while he was locked in the cage. Figuring out what that method was could break this case wide open. Who could have done that was thus the best line of investigation to pursue. How exactly are we going to do that? This place is so big that I have no idea where to even start. We need some sort of clue first. There is a clue. Shoma's body was wet when we first found it, remember? I think finding out why may very well be the key to solving this case. I walked over to the courtyard fountain. There was a valve with a handle on the side, probably for adjusting the amount of water being spouted. I opened it completely undone. A frightening amount of water gushed out all at once, making the fountain look like an erupting geyser or open dam. A giant column of water shot up into the sky and came down again like a downpour of rain. I quickly turned the handle to close the valve. Soon the water slowed considerably and went back to its normal flow. Phew, that was close. What exactly were you trying to do? I'm glad I was standing over here. I'd be all wet by now if I'd been any closer. Next, I checked the central drain. It was more like a tunnel than a drain. The water flowed deep into that tunnel. There was a large handle here as well. I turned the handle and a wall came down from the top of the tunnel, completely sealing up the drain. After checking it, I returned the handle to its original position. Yeah, I'm confused too. I briefly saw Hiriko and Tsubasa staring at me in confusion as I proceeded to my next destination, the cage where Shoma had been held. We already checked every last inch of that cage. There are no hidden tunnels underneath, and the bars are as strong as can be. No scratches on the lock either, and no traces that anything had been tampered with. The hinges of the gate are also untouched. As I was listening to them, my eyes wandered to the top of the cage. Officially, this cage is an animal pen. I think it was supposed to be modeled after a bird cage or something. You see that ring suspended from the top there? Yes, what about it? I didn't answer, instead lowering my glance to the bottom of the cage, where something caught my eye. This cage isn't secured to the floor. It's just a bottomless cage placed on top of a base. But the cage is impossible to move manually. It literally weighs a ton. How do you know that? There was a blueprint of the courtyard on the war room's computer that had some information about it. I see. So it weighs 1 ton. Hey, that reminds me. Did you know this courtyard was originally created as a biotope for space development research? Biotope. I'll try to keep the explanation as brief as possible. It's said that before World Death, Earth was full of different kinds of terrain, like arid regions and rainforest. And each of these regions were inhabited by living things unique to that area, including plants, microorganisms, and vertebrates. For research purposes, this place had originally been created as a perfect replica of the ecosystems those creatures had been living in. That's why there are blasts of hot air to stimulate a desert environment. It can also withstand atmospheric pressures many times Earth's range. Wouldn't that amount of pressure cause the windows to break?
Oh.
What are you talking about? Those things over there aren't windows. They're all display screens, including the ceiling. Look carefully and you'll see the light flickering every once in a while. There's no way the sky could be visible from here. We are inside the school, after all. You might be right. What about the exits on both sides connected to the hallways? Atmospheric pressure can escape from those exits when it gets too high, right?
Oh.
Those places were closed in the beginning, covered by partition walls. Don't you remember? Alright. They opened up after C-Ray released them. In other words, as long as the walls on those exits and drains are down, the courtyard is a completely sealed space. Completely sealed space. Oh, this is some science shit. Are you done here? Shall we return to the gym? Not yet. There's just one more thing. This. A balloon?
Oh.
The one we found during our investigation on day 51. Why do you think it was found so close to the cage? I have no idea. I can hardly imagine it being someone's personal belonging. More likely possibility is that someone made it using the Gift-O-Matic. Gift-O-Matic. We'll definitely be able to find a clue if we go there. We made our way to the rec room. Investigating the Gift-O-Matic resulted in a few discoveries.
Oh.
So, in summary, the official name of this is the Sturdy Rubber Balloon. It was made using a very durable material.
Oh.
The description on the box mentions it doesn't break easily. The balloon has a capacity of 10 liters. It can be quite big when blown up. According to the history logs, it's been crafted a total of 100 times. Who needs that many balloons and for what? Unfortunately, we won't be able to find out who crafted them. That data, and only that data, has been erased. After reviewing our findings, I put the balloon back into my pocket. Tsubasa, is there a tire pump in the parking lot? Yeah, an electric air compressor. Is it portable? Of course it is. It has caster wheels attached to it. Anybody can move it anywhere. Why do you ask? Sorry. Let me gather my thoughts first. I'll explain it all to everyone once I have a clearer picture of how the events unfolded. A clearer picture? And when will that happen? Probably by 7 p.m. tonight. We returned to the gym together, where I immediately started sorting out my thoughts. The day flew by as I did, and soon as it was night. The time I had asked everyone to meet me had arrived. I'm not supposed to know to kill her, right? It was exactly 7 p.m. when I quietly said to everyone, "Hey guys, can we all move to the courtyard? I have something important to discuss." What is this important thing we had to come out all the way here to discuss? Well, you see, I turned my gaze upward, then slowly lowered my head.
I figured out who killed Shoma.
Oh my god. Okay, okay. Now I need to think about this. Oh my god. I don't know. Okay. So... nobody had an alibi. We were all sleeping in our rooms. Ava was in H's room. Didn't find anything. Yes, it's about atmospheric pressures. So whoever killed... they literally just flooded the entire place, right? Causing the thing to float. I guess if it's a ton, it would float and not sink. I don't know. $100 balloons. They use it as like air. Sturdy rubber balloon. Capacity of 10 liters. Crafted to 100 times. Tire pump. So you pump the balloons. Dude, I'm... okay, so you pump the balloons.
Ah.
I guess I'll go through everyone. Is someone here a good swimmer or something? Who did it?
Huh?
First, we must answer the how. How did the killer stab Shoma while he was inside a locked cage? Once we can figure that out, the identity of the killer becomes apparent. Because only that person could have done all that under those circumstances. Just cut to the chase and tell us who the killer is already.
All right.
I have no idea.
I'll tell you.
Okay, let's go person by person. Talk to Mario. Why would he do it? It's not Tsubasa, it's not Hiruka. Kiyoshika has the sword. Does that do anything? Who can breathe underwater? Wait. Is it in here somewhere? I don't think it is. Okay.
The person who killed Shoma. It was. The name of that person is.
I have no idea. Well, I can't... I don't know why I can pick the dead people. The army can throw knives, but that has nothing to do with it. Who would know enough about the... Well, I mean, X told them how to do it, right? So it can't really use intelligence as like a factor. Could be Ema, but what would make Ema able to do it? Yeah, let me read over this one more time. "100 balloons. 99 Olaf balloons." Where did the drain... Can I look at the drains? You put a bunch of knives and balloons. Like, what's going on here? More like a tunnel than a drain. Wall came down from the top of the tunnel, completely sealing up the drain. Those places were closed in the beginning. As long as those walls and those exits and drains are down, the courtyard is a completely sealed space. Maybe? I don't think it's Dormy. What can Ava do that we can't? That's what I want to know. She has the mask. The mask allows her to breathe. That's what I was looking for. I'll try Ava. Because, like, the mask could allow her to breathe in the pressure, right? That might not even be the reason. I don't... Would it be Kugar? No. She looks like she went for a swim. Sure.
The real killer. You! Ava!
What are you saying, Takumi? I came to the school on day 21. I couldn't have written the first threatening note or killed Gaku. That means I couldn't have been X.
No one said you were X.
Indeed.
What?
I didn't say you were X. What I said was you're the person who killed Shoma.
I did not. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Shut your mouth and just watch.
I think this is right.
Exposing every last detail of your
Oh god, I don't know why. Like exactly, but it has to do with the mask, I'm sure. What makes you think I'm the killer? Before getting to that part, we'll have to explain how the murder even took place to begin with. Shoma's dead body was found in that cage. He had been stabbed multiple times. That means you had to have figured out a way to get inside the cage. But the door was locked. And you were the only one with the key, Takumi. Yes, I did have the key. So you couldn't have used it. You used another way to get inside. Another way? The key lies in the design of that cage.
The design? What are you talking about?
Float up.
The bottom part of the cage isn't secured in place.
It's just a heavy iron cage mounted on a base.
I don't understand. That cage isn't secured in...
Okay.
The cage could simply be lifted up.
So you went inside from the bottom. What nonsense is this, Takumi? How is it possible for anyone to lift up such a heavy metal structure? Very true. That cage weighs about a ton. It's not something anyone can move with their bare hands. Wait, aren't you contradicting yourself right now?
You claimed I lifted it up, but now you're saying...
It floats.
You used buoyancy.
Buoyancy? That's right. You made the courtyard a watertight space by closing off the drains. And then you flooded the entire place. Okay. There's a fountain there, right? You opened its valve fully to release an enormous amount of water through the nozzles. Turning it into something like an erupting geyser or open dam. You left the fountain valve wide open for a while to fill the space with water. Oh, I'm sorry. Your explanation was so outrageous I couldn't help but be amused. Takumi, do you not know how powerful water pressure can be? Even if we assume water was released into the environment after covering up any openings, some would still leak out because those walls would be under constant pressure from the force of the water. No, that wouldn't happen. That's how this place was designed. Because the courtyard was originally constructed for a certain special purpose.
Special purpose? What special purpose?
This place was a biotope to be used for space development research.
It was designed to be able to withstand atmospheric pressures many times Earth's range. That's what Tsubasa said. Yeah, that's right. And that's why it's impossible for water pressure to cause any leaks. After a while, the place became filled with water. Considering the water flow of that fountain, it probably took about 3 hours for water to rise to the top of the cage. Shoma was killed at 4 a.m. Counting back from that time brings us up to 1 a.m. for the approximate time the water started accumulating. Even if you were right, that entire cage is made of iron. It literally weighs a ton. You said so yourself.
It wouldn't shift around simply from being submerged in...
By using sturdy rubber balloons.
Rubber balloons? Ones that can be filled with air up to a capacity of about 10 liters. You inflated 100 of these balloons and put them into the cage. Oh. You put the deflated balloons into the cage first before inflating them. Oh, come on, don't bring up fucking Archimedes. Archimedes' principle states that upward buoyant force is equal to the weight of displaced water. 100 balloons that hold 10 liters each equals 1,000 kilograms. In other words, the effect is 1 ton of upward force. That cancels out the weight of the cage and reduces it to near zero. You barely need to use a single finger to lift it then. You were easily able to lift the cage with just the slightest effort. She's the only one who could breathe underwater, basically. That's what it's come to. 110-liter rubber balloons. That's just not... It would be impossible for me to inflate so many balloons in such a short time. How could anyone have done that? The tire pump. More than likely use a certain tool.
A certain tool? Well...
The bicycle tire pump in the parking lot. It's an electric air compressor.
It's mounted on wheels and can be easily moved here. Using that would make it a literal breeze to fill up all those balloons. I see. That method does make it possible for the cage to be lifted up while it was submerged in water. But don't you find it strange? If the cage had been underwater for that long, Shoma would have drowned inside. Yet the Revive-O-Matic stated his cause of death as hemorrhagic shock.
Doesn't that conflict with the sequence of events you've laid out? If your deduction holds true, Shoma would have drowned...
The cage wasn't completely submerged.
The water only had to stop just below the topmost part of the cage for it to work. Discharging water equal to the volume of the cage itself created the buoyant force needed. Shoma kept his head above the water's surface and breathed through his mouth, gaping and gasping for air the whole time. You took this opportunity to lift up the cage while underwater, slip inside, and stab him multiple times. What happened to the water in the courtyard after that? You opened the drainage walls to drain it away.
Then the courtyard should have still been wet when we discovered Shoma's body. But was it wet?
You used blasts of hot air to dry the place up.
What? I mentioned just now that this courtyard was originally created as a biotope for space development research. Because of that, it's perfectly capable of reproducing a desert environment, which means it has the ability to blast hot wind around the area. After draining the water away, you activated that setting to dry the courtyard. Due to the lack of time, however, the water didn't dry up completely. When we first discovered Shoma's body, it was actually still somewhat damp. It was dry enough, though. Plus, we were all distracted by Shoma's dead body. That's why we failed to notice the remaining wetness in the area. The only thing we did notice was that Shoma's body was damp. Fine. I understand this is utter foolishness. Let me summarize what you were trying to say. I went underwater, lifted up the cage, and stabbed Shoma multiple times while he was gasping for air at the surface. Then I dove underwater again and turned the valve handle to open the drainage walls. Look, Takumi, I am neither a diver nor a mermaid. Even if I was an expert at holding my breath,
A regular person would struggle to do even...
Yep. I was looking for the fucking mask
No.
in the
It's
fucking...
absolutely possible.
in the, what do you call it? The archive. Because there was features listed about it, but it's not in the archive for some reason. You used your mask, Ava. Tsubasa told me about it. Okay. There's a miniature air tank in your mask. See, that's what I wanted to fucking know. It allows you to use it as a sealed gas mask. You can breathe for up to 30 minutes using it like that. Yeah, I did say that. I never thought it would work underwater, though.
Yes, I remember now. My mask did have a function like that. But someone stole it from me. That person must be the real killer. Yes, that
Nope,
has
it only
to be
fits
it.
you, whatever.
I
Blah, blah, blah.
know I am right.
You've been cornered and you know it, Ava. Just admit that you're the one behind this. Your mask was unique. It's custom made to fit a specific shape. According to Tsubasa, you're the only one who can wear it. You were right, Ava. This isn't a crime that a regular person could have committed. Only a diver, mermaid, or someone with that particular mask could have done it. Ergo, the person who could wear that particular mask is the culprit. And only one person in this world can put on that mask. That person is standing right in front of me. It's none other than you, Ava! You're the only one who could have killed Shoma!
Alright, so now we've got to figure out why.
No! No!
Commune, probably?
No! No!
Because there's still no way she would have known all that about the courtyard. I did not expect to get into the murder that quickly. How many more of these are there going to be? Takumi, you're right. I killed Shoma. The method and flow of events were as you have deduced. I have nothing to add. But... have I really done something wrong? I too had been threatened by X. I had no choice. When did you meet X? A short while before 1 a.m. on day 51, just before the murder, I heard a knock on my door. And you opened it? Yes. Why? The thought that it might be X outside that door did flash through my mind briefly. But I am not a part of the SDU, and I wasn't even here when you saw the threatening note. I just assumed I could not have been on X's radar. Well, what did X say?
I have the remote detonator that will trigger the bomb inside your body. Here it is, in case you think I'm lying. I'm going to give you some instructions now, but you don't have much time. Follow my orders quickly, or else. Should you go against me, or tell the others about my existence, I will detonate the bomb in your body immediately.
Wait, what's going on? How did X get their hands on the detonator? Maybe they stole it from one of us? No. X said they obtained it through the proper channels. From Tsubasa herself. No. Yep. No, we are 100% sure that X is one of us. No, I think you can remove me from that list. I passed the first detonator to Hiriko and never got it back, and haven't received the duplicate from Tsubasa yet. That is fair. Sir Takumi shall be taken off the list of suspects. Everyone else started scrutinizing each other with great suspicion, not daring to even move their bodies, only their eyes. Hey Ava, just one thing. Yes? X said they'd blow you up if you told the others about him, right? Yes. And that's what you're doing now. You feeling okay? Why hasn't X blown you up yet, indeed? I believe they could, if they wanted to. The device is small enough to fit in the palm of someone's hand. It could be hidden in a sleeve, on their chest, or around the waist, and no one would notice. It would be easy to simply press the button at the opportune moment. But X cannot do that for one particular reason. And what's that? Takumi, do you remember what I told you about the bomb mechanism before? Yes, I remember. 25! That makes the blast diameter the length of an Olympic-sized swimming pool. Basically the length of this entire courtyard! That's why X isn't pressing the button. Because they'll be caught in a blast as well? And it's not like they can simply run away. Taking such action is as good as admitting you are X. That's why X has got their hands tied, eh? This is the perfect opportunity. For what? For us to get more information about X from Ava. Since they can't blow her up, we can ask her anything we want. Great idea. Ava, do you know anything else about X? Their height? Body shape? They were dressed in the same outfit Shoma previously described. And used a voice changer as well. So it was not possible to discern who they were by their looks and voice, but... Ava looked down. A short, hesitant silence later, she spoke up again.
Actually, I figured out who X is.
How'd you figure that out? By their mannerisms. Their mannerisms? You know how some people will subconsciously touch their chin or play with their hair when thinking about something? Those sort of mannerisms. They tried really hard to hide it, but I still managed to pick up on them. So, who is X?
All right, I will tell you.
Boom!
X is. The real identity of X is.
Suddenly, a sense of dread washed over me. My mind started working overtime as I went through all possibilities. Maybe X would really press the button now. Everyone thinks X won't do it because that would mean blowing themselves up as well. But if their identity was revealed, it would be the end for them anyway. They might even prefer to die with everyone in the blast over being caught and imprisoned. But in that case, why weren't they pressing the button now before Ava could reveal their identity? Are they banking on the possibility that Ava might say the wrong name? If she did, X could just sit back and watch the show without doing anything. And if she really said X's real name, they could always press the button at that time. Surely that was why X was adopting a wait-and-see attitude right now. It might be dangerous for Ava to say that name out loud. Even if she got it right, everyone would die anyway. Still, I might just be overthinking things. X could be hesitating simply because they were afraid to die. What do I do? What should I do? There was literally no time to hesitate any longer. My final decision was... shut Ava up? No, I want to find out who X is. Why would I... whatever. Maybe we do die here. In which case I get an ending. Yay! I decided to let Ava finish her sentence without an interruption. However, she stayed silent after that and refused to say another word. What is the matter, Lady Ava? X got your tongue? Or do you actually not know who X is? What? Then why did you pretend like you knew? At Ema's question, Ava suddenly... Heh. Was this a bluff? She smirked and let out a chuckle, looking as if she was mocking us. When I saw her expression, the truth dawned on me. Of course. You're afraid, right? You're afraid to die. Even if you were forced to do so by X, you were still the one to kill Shoma. That is an unforgivable act. Then you thought to yourself, I'm going to be thrown into the cage again. This time, they're never going to let me out. Why should I stay then? I'll blow myself up and take everyone in the SDU with me. But you were afraid to face death. You never had that courage to begin with. So you decided to leave it in the hands of X, right? The act of pressing the button to activate the bomb. Oh, that's why you lied about knowing X's identity. Wait, that means you going along with us all this time was just an act? When you said you hated Veshness, was that a lie too? Also, you could gain our trust and gather intel while hiding in plain sight? Ava said nothing in response. Her lips didn't move for a second. Something else did. Her hands. My body moved before my mind did. I exploded into action and dashed over to Ava at breakneck speed. I grabbed her left wrist and shouted loudly.
Get away, everyone!
At that, everybody made a mad scramble for the exit. Right after that, Ava grabbed my shoulder and forced me to face her. As I did, I saw a raised foot and found myself being kicked away. I landed near the exit where there were 5 other people. They just reached the gate and were not yet outside. The other 5 had rushed to the exit on the other side and were at about the same distance away as well. I quickly stood up and looked in Ava's direction. She pinched her little finger and said,
Is this the courage you said I didn't have?
She pulled on her little finger without a trace of hesitation. Day 90. Day 80. Okay, not too bad.
Up and Atom troops, time to rise and shine! Wow, it's finally your 80th day of active service here at Last Defense Academy. We have just 20 days left. The end is really in sight now. Just a bit longer until humanity is saved. Work together to protect the school and humanity, okay?
It's day 80. I was already so used to waking up and finding out that I had missed a bunch of days that I was more surprised by the fact I was somehow still alive. Come to think about it, I seem to recall someone pulling me back with great force just before the explosion. That could be why I survived. Wonder who saved me. I didn't see who it was, but I remembered a lavender fragrance. I can think about that later. Is everyone okay? Stood up from the makeshift bed, pulled open the curtain divider, and stepped outside. And then... What do you mean Tsubasa and Moko are gone? Exactly what I meant! They were both missing when I woke up! You were the last 3 on watch last night, right? Yes, but halfway through my shift, I felt a pain on my neck. Like something had pricked me. Somebody must have jabbed me with that stolen anesthetic because I blacked out immediately. And then you woke up, they were both gone. That's what I've been trying to say! It was at this point that everybody finally noticed I was awake. Sir Takumi, I see you have decided to rejoin us in the land of the living. 5 days no see.
Oh!
Pretty fast, all things considered. Yeah. Hey, shouldn't we be looking for Tsubasa and Moko? Yes, the 9 of us here will split into groups of 3. After some discussion, we decided on the following groups. Group 1, me, Nozomi, Darumi. Group 2, Takamaru, Kurara, Kiyoshika. Group 3, Hiruko, Yugamu, Ima. Let's go find them. Oh no. And thus, we embarked on the search for Tsubasa and Moko. We visited every place in the school to see if we could find any traces of them. However, they're nowhere to be found. It's already been an hour since we started looking. Suddenly, we heard a strained voice coming from the schoolyard. Bad news! Teams Takumi and Takamaru, can you hear me? If so, come to the parking lot right now. We gave each other knowing glances before rushing toward the stairwell together. Takamaru's team was already at the parking lot by the time we arrived. There were a few trees near the parking lot. Hiruko and Takamaru's teams were staring agape at something near the top of them. Dread started to pool in the pit of my stomach. I turned slowly and cautiously to look in the direction of their stares. What I saw was... Jesus fucking Christ.
No. No!
Not Tsubasa. And Moko.
How?
It was clear they were both dead. Blood drained from my face and I felt sick to the bone. Now 5 of my friends are dead. I didn't know how my heart wasn't breaking apart. Somehow, I held myself together and said,
Help me lower them to the ground and move them to the infirmary.
Subject, Tsubasa Kawana. Cause of death, hemorrhagic shock. Estimated time of death, day 80, between 5 and 8 a.m. Multiple stab wounds on the chest and abdomen. The murder weapon is likely a sharp blade about 8 inches long. Too much time has passed since death. Insufficient cryptoglobin present in body. Impossible to revive. Subject, Moko Mojiro. Cause of death, hemorrhagic shock. Estimated time of death, day 80, between 5 and 8 a.m. Lacerated carotid artery. The murder weapon is likely a sharp blade of unknown length. Too much time has passed since death. Insufficient cryptoglobin present in body. Impossible to revive. After everyone had a chance to view the monitor, the mood in the room turned utterly gloomy. We silently moved their bodies to the morgue. Hey, do you mind if I mention something?
Huh?
Go on. It's something I noticed about Tsubasa's back.
Huh?
She got her heart stolen like the others? Wait, how did you know about the hearts being stolen?
Oh.
I decided it was not something worth hiding and told them about it. Right. But I don't think the cases are related. Neither of them had their backs cut open. Then what is it you wanted to tell us about Tsubasa's back? I noticed it when the hem of her blouse hitched up while we were moving her body just now. Darumi walked over to Tsubasa's body and removed the sheet that was covering it. She turned over the body and pulled the blouse up so that we could all see the strange thing on her back.
Huh.
2. Think so. Could be a Z or an N as well. I don't know.
Huh?
The mark is small enough to be completely covered by a hand.
Huh.
Not located in the center, but more toward the left side of the spine.
Huh?
This is indeed curious. The purplish color even makes it look like a bruise.
Oh!
What could this number mean? Nobody had an answer to that. We checked Mocha's back as well, but there were no markings at all, let alone one that looked like a number. After that, we turned them both back around, closed our eyes, and put our hands together to pay our respects. Moko! 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 Nozomi clung on to Moko's body and wept bitterly. Her anguished chokes and sobs reverberated through the hushed morgue. Night soon fell, and when bedtime approached, Kurara suddenly brought something up. I found this in Tsubasa's space. Can you guys take a look at it? The organic life detection device.
Huh.
9, same as the number of people here. Ain't it about time you just showed your hand, X? You're one of us here, ain't you? No criminal in their wrong mind would happily come forward to identify themselves when asked. How about this, X? Fess up and we promise not to throw your sick little ass into jail. So come on, help us out here. Ain't gonna work, buddy. Are we only talking to X right now? Say what? X instructed someone to kill Kako and Shoma. What if it was the same this time?
Huh?
Hey, don't you go putting weird ideas in my head. You're basically saying there are two killers among us. Whatever the case, we should probably be sleeping together. I agree. X should still have some of that anesthesia left. Another option is to increase the number of people on watch. But it's probably safer for everyone to just sleep in their own rooms. What do you think, Takumi? I folded my arms across my chest and thought long and hard about it before saying, Yes. Going back to sleeping in our own rooms may be the better option at this point. On the condition that nobody opens their door until the morning announcement. Are we clear on that? Okay, so my immediate thoughts about this murder is that one of them killed the other one. But then they both ended up dead.
And out of troops, time to rise and shine!
But especially considering it looks like there was two different murder weapons used.
Get ready for your 81st day of active service here at Last Defense Academy! Prepare to spend another day and be ready to give...
I didn't black out despite having gone through so many stressful events yesterday. I didn't know why. It wasn't like I'd been cured of the fainting disease. During the day, we split up into groups to investigate the deaths of Tsubasa and Moko. But we didn't find a single clue. Soon the sun started setting. Darkness took over.
At ease, soldiers. It's time to hit the hay. You never know when the invaders might attack, so rest up while you still can. Well then, good night.
It happened right after the bedtime announcement had played. The sound of the doorbell sent a chill up my spine. Was it X? Were they here to get me? Those thoughts raced through my mind as I gingerly made my way over to the door, where I was greeted by a familiar voice from the other side. I know what you were thinking, Takumi. Maybe here to go as X, right? But you would be wrong. I am not X. Yeah, you say that, but... Just listen to me. I need to tell you something. You are likely innocent because you did not have the detonator for Ava's bomb. For that reason, I trust you and want to tell you something I remembered. What is it? I'm going to the morgue now. If you trust me, meet me there. I will be waiting for you. I heard the sound of her clacking heels getting softer and softer until it completely went silent. What should I do? I don't believe Hiroko is X, but... Damn it! I hid my infuser under my clothes as a precaution and ran directly to the morgue. I have never met an idiot as stupendously naive as you. Did you even consider what would have happened to you had I really been X? But you said you weren't.
Oh.
Only a gullible idiot would believe a potential suspect is not a bloodthirsty serial killer simply because they said so. I gritted my teeth in frustration and said, Anyway, what was this thing you remembered? Hiroko walked over to Tsubasa's dead body without a word. She stopped in front of the body and removed the sheet. She turned the body over before lifting the blouse up. It's that strange number we saw yesterday. What about it? This is her liver mortis code. Liver mortis code? It's a unique number that appears in the back of all SDU members when they lose almost all of their cryptoglobin. Only those from Team 1 have this. Where the fuck did you hear about this? That is a 3-day long story I can tell you another time. All I can tell you now is that this is a very reliable piece of information. She moved to Shoma's body next. Removing the sheet covering him, she flipped his body around so that his back was facing up. There was a large gaping hole there. Shoma too? Yes, I believe X must have done this. But when? We've been moving in groups ever since he died. Well, there was just one sliver of opportunity X could have taken advantage of. What's that? When Ava self-destructed. Everyone got caught in the blast and were knocked out. It was the next morning by the time we regained consciousness. X must have woken up sooner than the rest of us, and... Hiriko showed me Eito and Gaku's back cavities next. Finally, she turned Kako's body over. Now we have 4 cases on hand. Every wound is the same shape. X used the same method to remove their hearts from their bodies. Sure seems that way. What do you see when you look at this wound? Well, the outline is rather clearly defined, like they were cut open with a scalpel or something. Oh, I get it now. It's in the exact location. That has to be it. The part of their backs with the livor mortis code has been cut out. Well done. Is it the same for Moko? Haven't you been listening? The livor mortis code only shows up on those from Team 1. Moko is from Team 2. Naturally, her back is code-free. After saying that, Hiriko returned the bodies to their original positions. But why would X do such a thing? I'm guessing it is because they do not want us to learn of their existence. If the bodies were left in their original state, somebody was bound to notice the code sooner or later. So they cut out the part with the code out. They cut out the part with the code out in order to keep them hidden from us. Why dig out the hearts, too? Most likely a red herring. Think about it. What would be the first thing to come to your mind if you saw that multiple bodies had only a certain part of their backs cut away? I would think there had to be something on our bodies as well. You see, now you are getting it. You would think X is targeting something invisible on that part of our bodies, right? And what would you do with that information? What am I supposed to do? For example, I would cut out that part of my body before X could get their hands on it. Or cover it with something, like a tattoo of a soaring dragon. X would likely be highly inconvenienced if we did that. That is why they took out the heart as well. They wanted us to believe their target was not that patch of skin on our backs, but the hearts in our bodies. That's why X did that. Then it still leaves us with one question. What's that? I'll explain later. You see, X's objective has to do with knowledge of the livor mortis codes. Our current hypothesis is that X cut out that particular part of the skin. Not because they were avid skin collectors, but simply to stop us from knowing about the existence of the codes. But if that is true, why set up the red herring? Because if X's objective was only to know what the codes were, they could have simply gotten rid of the bodies once they saw it. They could have tossed the bodies into the wall of fire, buried them in the forest, yet X did none of these things. Why? I'm not sure, but maybe they needed the bodies to be left in the morgue for some reason. You think so too? Yes. X clearly wanted to leave the bodies in here. But by doing so, it would allow us to find out about the existence of the livor mortis codes. That is why they went through the trouble of setting up such a complicated red herring, removing the skin and hearts of those already dead. So the question is, why does X want the bodies preserved? That is what I'm trying to find out. Let's put that aside for now and talk about something else. Why does X want to know what the livor mortis codes are? It has to do with the distress signal transmitter. The transmitter the boy with the undying flames told us about? Oh, I know. The correct series of codes he mentioned, he must be referring to the livor mortis codes. Yes, there are 10 people on Team 1, Entering 9 of our codes will summon the rescue craft. Because knowing the liver mortis codes of 9 people indicate that 9 people have entered total death. Total death?
Oh?
Means the complete cessation of life. In this case, a person is impossible to revive. Okay, but how did you come across all this information? The same way I came across the previous information. By remembering them. Oh, the 3-day-long story you were talking about. Yes, I will explain further when time is more on our side. For now, our priority is to identify X. Do you understand now? Do you understand why I said X's objective is to find out the liver mortis codes? Does this mean X is trying to summon the rescue craft? It is very likely. So that they can leave the school? Quite so. Which also means X already knows where the distress signal transmitter is located. Because the liver mortis codes would be useless otherwise. That is a logical line of reasoning. Keep going. If we find this distress signal transmitter ourselves, we may find a clue to X's identity. Hiroko nodded deeply at my words.
Oh.
That is why I'm going to start looking for the distress signal transmitter now. Care to join me? It's almost midnight. What are you, 5? You got cooked there. Oh, alright. Hiroko and I ran around the school all night in search of the distress signal transmitter. We found nothing in the end. It's almost 6. If we're not in our rooms for the morning announcement, the others may suspect us of being X. Yes, we should call it a day for now, and... Just as Hiroko was about to finish her sentence. Kurara! Shh! Hide yourself! What in the world? You made the rule that we should never go anywhere alone, remember? So why is Kurara wandering around by herself, then? Oh. Now that you mention it. We peered out from around the corner of the hallway to see where Kurara was going. She quickly vanished in the direction of the staircase. Sound of footsteps on the floor above us slowly became softer and softer until we heard the roof door closing. Then there was silence. Kurara went upstairs. I mean, we are on the ground floor. But she just came from that staircase. Why would she come down the stairs just to go up again? Maybe she didn't come down the stairs. Are you saying... We started investigating the area around the staircase, groping around wall surfaces to see if we could find anything. And then...
What is this?
A secret door.
Let's see what's inside.
Yes.
Behind the door was a staircase leading down into pitch darkness.
Kudata didn't come downstairs.
She came up from here.
So, at the end of this staircase...
Yes. There's something to be discovered for sure. Let's go see.
What the hell? This place? I cannot believe we are still discovering new places in the school on day 82. Yeah, I can't believe we're discovering new places in the school on hour 102. It's freezing in here. Your unfunny jokes made the heat in the room shrivel up and die. I don't recall making any jokes. There's a device of some sort in the middle of the room. We should check it out. Hiroko and I approached the device and stared at the display monitor. Is this what I think it is? There was a user manual of sorts in the bottom left part of the screen, which read, Distress Signal Transmitter. Enter the liver Morse code of each SDU member into blank spaces on the screen. A distress signal is transmitted when 9 correct codes are entered. However, should a single incorrect code be entered, poison gas will be released from the tank behind the device. This is a special gas designed to instantly dissolve all types of physical objects. Neither a gas mask nor a biohazard suit will offer any sort of protection against it. You have been warned.
Oh.
This is it. This is the distress signal transmitter we were looking for. To think it's been here this whole time.
Aha!
This is a major discovery. My excitement, I started looking around the other areas of the room. Next moment, I felt my blood going cold. I saw something I hadn't noticed initially because all my attention had been on the device. An object in a corner of the room. No, that wasn't an object. It wasn't. That was... What? Kurata Osazuki's dead body.
Wait. What? We have to take her to the infirmary.
Don't bother. A dead body doesn't freeze up that badly within an hour or so.
So, she's been dead for a long time?
So the person who walked by us was X then.
You have eyes? Can you not see?
Because they took her coat and her mask.
This is definitely Kurata Osazuki. I know because I've seen her real face before. The one beneath her usual tomato head mask.
I've seen her face before too.
On that note, do you remember who we just crossed paths with?
Yes. Someone dressed like Kurata.
But the real Kurata is here, which means...
Who the heck was that?
One thing is for sure. That person is none other than
Yep.
X themselves.
You have arrived at Story Lock 3. You will not be able to progress without meeting certain conditions. Try exploring other branches for now. Unlock conditions. Reach Story Lock 2. Huh? What? Dude, I was getting so invested. Holy okay. So... I have no idea who the fuck X is, but, like, I guess I'm not supposed to know. I guess I should just go for these endings. We're only in, what, an hour 13? And there's what? There's this ending, Shut Ava Up, Who Killed Shoma. Wait, there's 2 endings here? Takumi and Other. Okay. And then... Who Killed Stab Shoma? Other. Is that all we've done? Okay. So there's like no days in this route. Okay. I guess we'll just work forward. I'm just gonna skip all the text. Alright, who should we point to? What's the funniest answer here? Yugamu, it was you. I doubt this is that different for... The real killer is... you! Yugamu Omakage! I mean, he's a killer. Well, you do know how to make a funny joke. That's not possible, Takumi. Remember what we saw in the drone footage together? The bends in the ventilation shaft are too narrow for someone of Yugamu's size to pass through. I'm guessing you're the killer, Takumi. Because if you could frame someone else, everyone starts relaxing and that makes it easier for you to keep killing. He has a point. I'm afraid I agree. One after another, the others started voicing their agreement, and I found myself unable to offer any rebuttal. You leave us with no choice but to lock you up. Wait, this is a mistake. I was just... In the end, I was detained by the others and locked inside the cage in the courtyard. What possessed me to even say that? I couldn't remember. But it was too late for regrets. I had no strength left to even sigh. Only a little while later, my consciousness fled from me. Day 99. I had no idea how long I was unconscious. When I next opened my eyes, I saw that the cage had been unlocked. Sure of what that meant, I pushed the door open nervously and stepped outside. It was eerily silent all around. There were no signs of life anywhere. Wondering where everyone had gone, I decided to walk around the campus and search for them. I went to the garage on the ground floor first. I opened the door and I stepped inside, where I found...
Darumi.
I hadn't even needed to check. She was clearly already gone. I went closer and touched her arm anyway. It was scaly and dry to the touch. It had been quite a while since she passed. Checked her back and saw a large gaping hole there. Her heart had been removed through her back.
Why would someone do this?
Put that disturbing thought aside and quickly continued searching for the others. My next destination was the library. As soon as I entered, I saw...
Kyoshika!
I checked her body. She wasn't breathing and had no pulse. Judging from how cold she felt, I knew she had died a while back as well. I flipped her body around gingerly. Her back was still intact. Her heart hadn't been stolen. I decided to search all the classrooms thoroughly. Then I checked the first floor, second floor, and third floor. I even checked the roof. There was nobody to be found. My last destination was the gym. The moment I opened the door, I could hardly believe my eyes.
What happened here?
I checked everybody's bodies. They were all cold to the touch, just like with Darumi and Kyoshika.
No, wait. Maybe...
Clinging to a ray of hope, I moved everybody to the infirmary, but... Too much time has passed since death, impossible to revive, was all the monitor would display. I thought I heard the sound of my heart breaking when those words flashed across the screen for the 6th time. I felt nothing, not even sadness or despair. I simply turned over their dead bodies mechanically and emotionlessly. Hiroko, Tsubasa, and Ima's hearts had been dug out from their backs. Kurata, Moko, and Yugamu's back remained intact. I was no longer capable of reasoning this through. My mental faculties had been taken over by a thick, impenetrable fog. I left the building and walked around the back. Greeted me there was this familiar sight.
Shoma.
The sight of a dead body that had been divested of its heart. I wondered where my own heart had gone. I could no longer feel it beating, like it had stopped. Felt like time had stopped, like the world had stopped. Everything had stopped. But time had not stopped, as proven by the gradual darkening of my surroundings. Wandered around the academy with no purpose. I until I finally stumbled upon the 10th dead body. To be more precise. The 10th and 11th dead bodies.
Takimaru. Ava.
I checked Takamaru's back. His heart had been taken, ripped out of his body. Ava's back was untouched. No other part of her body had been cut either. I stood rooted to the spot in a daze for quite some time. Then a passing, soundless breeze blew past. The breeze jolted me to my senses, and the gears in my head started turning again. 11. I was put in the cage on day 50. How many survivors were there at that time? Including myself, there were... Who's... I forgore. Okay. Okay, Darmi, Kyoshika. Takamaru's dead. Darmi's dead. Hiriko's dead. Tsubasa's dead. Gaku's dead. Wait. Did we find Tsubasa? Yeah, okay. Shoma. Ima. Kako. They're all dead. Nozomi. Oh, duh. The very next moment, a great amount of blood suddenly started spurting out from my neck. I understood for the first time in that moment that I was still alive. At the same time, I realized I would be dead in 2 seconds. I had no way of telling if that prediction of mine came true or not, because my existence had already been erased from the world. Okay, so Nozomi wasn't dead. Okay. Alright, well now we gotta go all the way back. To here, right? Yeah. I know who killed Shoma. It was me!
I don't have any memories of it, but the killer, it could very well have been me.
Yeah, like I've been saying all this time, right? But how could you not have any memories? It's simple. I just don't remember. Then you cannot be the killer. But I don't believe any of you here could have done something so cruel. Also, I'm the only one who could have gotten inside since the key was with me. There are other reasons, too. Nothing happened when I was unconscious, right? That would make sense if I was the culprit. The cause of my fainting disease may have played a part as well. Traces of treatment found on damaged parts of the brain. Fainting disease likely developed as an after effect. If those damaged parts had actually yet to heal properly, I could have gotten up subconsciously at night and did all of those things without being aware of it, right? That's why I'm saying it was probably me. Maybe. Then you leave us with no choice but to lock you up in a cell. Are you okay with that, Takumi? No. Huh? You're still trying to put up a fight even after you've confessed? I wasn't confessing. I was just saying it's a possibility. But you were so confident you knew who the killer was. You are being utterly incoherent. Anyway, hold him down, everyone. Okay. Stop. Stay away from me. I said, stay away! I screamed and started running. You bastard! Stop right there! I burst out of the room into the hallway and just kept running. Some time passed. I was finally able to throw off all my pursuers after running around the school haphazardly.
I'll be in danger if I stick around here. I should leave the school for a while and get my head together.
I headed to the entrance hall and grabbed a fire extinguisher before sneaking outside. Before long, I arrived at the wall of fire, but somebody had been lying in ambush there. Yugamu. You are X. No! But you basically admitted it just now. I told you, I was just throwing out possibilities. Save your excuses. Now I can finally kill you without regrets. What? Have you forgotten that I am an assassin? Wait, does that mean... Yugamu pulled out a dirk and walked towards me with a smirk on his face.
No! Stop!
Nozomi! Why?
I saw you, so I ran after you.
Yugamu! How could you do this?
Hey, this wasn't my fault. I was just trying to intimidate you. Killing you had never been my intention at all.
Shut up!
I charged at Yugamu with a feral roar, and we grabbed hold of each other. As we were struggling, we lost our balances and our bodies careened into the wall of fire at the same time. The very next moment, our bodies vaporized in the blink of an eye. My consciousness seized just as quickly as my body was reduced to ashes. Wow. Interesting. Alright. Who killed Shoma? Who fucking know? It was Kyoshika! The real killer is... you! Kyoshika Magadori! Who, me? I cannot fathom this! You must tell me how I did it! Very well. Allow me to explain. What you did was... you, you know... It's all very simple. You were... This guy's stinking to high heavens. Of course he is! He's X after all! Hey, now that I think about it, nobody got attacked whenever he was unconscious, right? Maybe he's trying to frame someone else to make the rest of us let our guard down. After that, he'll tell us there's no need to travel in groups or sleep together anymore, and then commit his next crime. So we brought this matter up in a futile attempt to shift suspicion away from him. It does make sense. Yes, it does indeed. One after another, the others started voicing their agreement, and I found myself unable to offer anything in rebuttal. You leave us with no choice but to lock you up. Wait, this is a mistake. I was just... In the end, I was detained by the others and locked inside the cage in the courtyard. What possessed me to even say that? I couldn't remember. But it was too late for regrets. I had no strength left to even sigh. Only a little while later, my consciousness fled from me. Day 99. Nope, day 100 this time. I had no idea how long I was unconscious. When I next opened my eyes, I saw that the cage had been unlocked. Unsure of what that meant, I pushed the door open nervously and stepped outside. Only to notice that someone was lying in the cage next to mine. I ran over to see who it was.
Ava.
I didn't even need to check. She was clearly already gone. The cage was unlocked. I went inside and touched her arm. It was deathly cold. She'd been dead for at least a few hours.
What's going on here?
I stamped down my disquieting thoughts and quickly started searching for the others. My next destination was the library. As soon as I entered, I saw...
Yoshika!
Checked her body. She wasn't breathing and had no pulse. Judging from how cold she felt, it seemed like she had died a few hours ago as well. Thinking everyone might be in their rooms, I proceeded to the roof. It was eerily silent all around. There were no signs of life anywhere. Still convinced there had to be someone body around, I opened every single door to check. Takamaru's room, Hiruko's room, Darumi's room. The rooms were completely empty, abandoned. Kurata's room was next. I went inside and my glance fell on her bed. Lying there was...
No! Kurata too!
I checked her body. Like Ava and Kyoshika, she was cold to the touch.
No, wait. Maybe...
Clinging to a ray of hope, I decided to move Kurata's body to the infirmary, but... Too much time has passed since death. Impossible to revive, was all the monitor would display. I had a really bad feeling about this whole thing. Dark despondency pooled and congealed at the pit of my stomach. But it's fine. It's going to be fine. That's what I kept telling myself as I continued searching. I checked every room on the second and third floors, and in any other rooms I had yet checked, I didn't find anyone. Finally, I reached the first floor. Upon stepping inside the mysterious room with no name, I saw...
Yugamu.
There was no need to even check on his body. I could feel an eerie chill crawling underneath my skin and spreading to the rest of my body. The last place I visited was the garage. I pushed the door open and cautiously stepped inside. And then... when I finally registered the scene before me, I thought I could hear the sound of my heart breaking apart. I felt nothing, not even sadness or despair. I simply turned over the bodies mechanically and emotionlessly. Takamaru, Ima, Darumi, and Tsubasa's hearts had been removed through their backs. Acting on a hunch, I peered underneath Hiruko's clothing to check her back as well. There was a large empty cavity there as well, just as I had suspected. But I was no longer capable of reasoning this through. My mental faculties had been taken over by a thick, impenetrable fog. Stepping outside, I wandered around aimlessly for a while before coming to a stop in the schoolyard. I stood rooted to the spot in a daze for quite some time. The passing, soundless breeze blew past. As I took in the breeze, a slight sense of suspicion flashed through the back of my mind. How many dead bodies have I found? 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. I was put in the prison cell on day 75. How many survivors were there at that time? 12. Okay, so there's 2 people missing. Is it Moko? Which meant... But that suspicion was quickly dispelled from my mind when the remaining 2 survivors appeared before me. We fought so hard in the defensive battles. Everyone gave their all. We even beat Veshnus. And yet,
Oh.
this was what we woke up to.
Takumi. You killed them all, right?
What?
We're the last 3 still alive. No one else but you could have done it.
Her accusation jolted my mind into action, and I started to defend myself desperately.
No, it wasn't me. I went through the same ordeal too. My cage was unlocked when I woke up, and I walked out to almost everybody dead.
You really think we'll believe you after what you've already done?
Who else could have done this, huh? Tell us.
Moko was right. 3 of us were the only ones still alive. Stood the reason that one of us had to be the killer.
Come on, we're waiting. Who killed everybody if not you?
It was...
There's another choice here? It was you, Moko! I don't fucking know.
You! Moko Mochiro!
You killed everyone. It had to have been you. There's no mistake about it. No, no, no! No, 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 no! Moko charged at me deliriously while brandishing a massive butcher knife. I instinctively grabbed her wrist, snatched the butcher knife away, and slashed her neck. I watched in horror as Moko collapsed to the ground. I killed her. I hadn't intended to, but it just happened. My knees were knocking against each other. My strength gave out and the butcher knife fell to the ground. Immediately after...
Moko! Moko! No!
Nozomi screamed at the top of her lungs and dashed over. The knife that had fallen from my hand was lying at my feet. She quickly picked it up and swung it wildly.
Nozomi, why?
Nozomi was standing in front of me with an astonished look on her deathly pale face. I stared absently at her until my consciousness faded into nothingness. Wow. Huh. Alright. Sorry, I misspoke, everyone. It wasn't actually Moko. That was a joke. It was actually Nozomi. I mean, did you just see her kill me? It had to be. Nozomi, you're a monster. What's wrong with you, Nozomi?
I'm sorry, Nozomi, but you're the only one who could have done this!
How could you even say such a thing? It wasn't me. It really wasn't me. No, forget it. I don't care anymore. Everyone died like that. So I... She suddenly screamed at the top of her lungs and ran off toward the wall of fire.
Wait! Nozomi!
I quickly followed her. Before long, we reached a wall of fire, but Nozomi did not slow down. She continued running at full speed, right into the wall of fire.
No!
This wasn't what I wanted. All because I made that accusation. Because of me, Nozomi. No, wait. It's going to be fine. I may still be able to make it. I'll save Nozomi, drag her out of those flames, and... My body was already moving before I could finish the thought. I launched myself into the fiery flames. The very next moment, I was vaporized in an instant. My consciousness seized just as quickly as my body was reduced to ashes. Wowee. A kind heart, well done. That's traumatic. Oh, see, I made a mistake. It wasn't Nozomi. It wasn't Moko. They didn't do anything. How could I be so foolish? I mean, it's obvious, right? It was me. I'm the only person who could have done this. They said so.
I think I probably just didn't remember it.
Because there's no way either one of you here could have done all that. That means you must be right. It was me. I must have killed everybody. Somehow, without being conscious of it. I slumped my shoulders and hung my head weakly. Immediately after.
Oh.
I knew it. As Moko said that, she reached behind her and took out a large butcher knife. Next thing I knew, I was staring at my kneeled body, arms drooping lifelessly on both sides. Oh my god. How was I able to see my own body from this angle? That was the last thought that ran through my mind before I blacked out completely. You got chopped. Oh my goodness, okay. Now, we have to shut Ava up, right? That's the killing game route. Where the fuck, where am I supposed to go? Oh my god, this is so confusing, girl. Okay, this is the route. Shut Ava up, right? Alright. Shut up, Ava.
Ava, stop! Don't say anything.
Hey, what are you up to now?
Uh?
Wherefore have you stopped her? I explained my reasoning to the others. I get it. You were afraid X may try to take us all down with them. At that, all of a sudden, we heard. Ava burst out laughing to everyone's astonishment.
Mind sharing the joke with the rest of the class?
The joke is how you are all being so obtuse.
What?
It's the same.
What is?
Your ultimate destiny.
Wait, are you?
I shouted, but it was already too late. Ava had pinched her little finger and pulled it out without any hesitation. Oh, that's it. Pinky promise. Okay, so we have 22 endings now. Which means there's just one choice, presumably. If this is an 8-ending route. Maybe it's a 10-ending route. I don't know. We have to reach a story lock, so I guess that's all we can do. But we helped our ending numbers. And I guess we're done with this route for now. Like, there's nothing else to do here. In the mystery route. So, it's gonna be a mystery for a while. I don't fucking know. Next time, I'll fucking hop somewhere else. I'll probably hop back on the living side. Or to, you know, not killing Ato side. See what goes on. Because we got a lot of things we could do. Yeah. Alright. Well, anyway. Short episode, but, you know, shit got done. So thanks for watching. Bayonara!